This is lesson 6.6, B as in boy, the second video dealing with interest in pre-algebra. We're on example 4. And we're still using the formula I equals PRT, simple interest. And we've got this woman that deposits $900, and that ends up being her principal, the amount that she puts in there. And it pays 2%, so my rate is 2%, and it's 2% annually. If she withdraws all the money in the account after 90 days, so my time is 90 days over 360, because it's given in days, so I just put it over 360. How much does she withdraw? So, what I don't know is I don't know the interest that she made. And it says, how much does she withdraw? Well, that means the amount of money that she made in interest, which we're going to find, plus the 900 she started out with is how much she's actually going to withdraw. So again, make sure you realize what they're asking for. All right, well, let's go ahead and put this in the formula. So the interest is what we're looking for, equals principal times rate, 0.02, changing 2% to a decimal. 90 over 360 can be reduced to 1/4, so we'll put that here. You can also change that to 0.25 instead of 1/4. And when we multiply all that together, we get an interest of $4.50. That's how much money she made off of the 900 that she had in the bank for 90 days. So it says, how much does she withdraw? She withdraws the 900 she put in there plus the $4.50 that she made in interest. So she's able to take out $904.50. All right, a second type of interest, other than simple, that we talked about with the I equals PRT, is what is called compound interest. Compound interest is going to use a little bit different formula in order to do this, but we're going to use what we know about simple interest to help solve these kind of problems. So example 5, we've got a physical therapist put $3,000 into a savings account. So that's our P. And it paid 3.5% compounded annually. So that's our rate. How much money is in her account at the end of 2 years? All right, so the way it works when you're dealing with compounded interest is it pays 3.5% annually, which means that she put money into her account, $3,000, and at the end of a year, they gave her 3.5% of that. So if you take 3.5% of $3,000, you get $105. So that's how much she made on that $3,000 in a year. So she has her $3,000 plus she also made $105 at the end of a year. Well, it said that she had it in there for 2 years. Well, now what they're going to do is they're going to start looking at interest on the new amount that she has at the end of the first year in order to give her money for the second year. So in other words, she put $3,000 in there. At the end of the first year, she has $3,105. Now what they're going to do is they're going to pay her interest on this. So she's not only getting interest paid on the amount she put in, she's getting paid interest on the interest she made during that first year. So now the second year, we're going to take 3.5% of this amount and give her. And that's what's happened on compounded. Compounded is a good way to invest because they're not only giving you money on the money you put in their bank, they're also giving you money on the money you made by putting it in their bank, if that makes any sense. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take, now at the end of the first year, we have $3,105. So now we're going to take 0.035, 3.5%, of how much she has in there now, which in this case is 108.68. So that's how much money you made on the end of the second year. So we made that much on the first year and that much on the second year, and you still have your $3,000. So we're going to add the $3,000 plus the amount of money you made the first year plus the amount of money you made the second year, and that ends up giving you $3213.68. So you made more money doing compound interest because you're making extra money on the interest that the bank paid you during the first year. So the problem with these kind of story problems is this one was fairly simple because it was over the course of 2 years. So we only had to do this procedure twice. Find out how much you made off on the money in the first year, and then find out how much money you made the second year. But if this was over a 10-year period of time, you'd have to do this over and over and over and over again for 10 years. So what I'm going to do is give you a formula so that you don't have to do all of the extra work over and over. Which brings us to this formula here, which is A represents the amount of money you're going to make, or you're going to have at the end of however many years. You've got your principal times 1 plus your interest rate in decimal over n, which is the corresponding period. So in the last problem it would have been 2, like for 2 years. And then we've got our n again times time. Okay, so let me reemphasize. This n is how many times they compounded. So let's say it said the question says compounded quarterly. That means every 3 months they would give you interest. So quarterly, there are 4 quarters to $1. So quarterly is 4. So what you would put in that n position here, if it was compounded quarterly, would be 4. And you'd put a 4 here. And let's say that it was over a period of time of, say, 2 years. So what they're going to do is they're going to give you interest every quarter or every 3 months for a period of 2 years. So if you put everything in here correctly, then when you get your answer, it's going to give you the amount of money that you made off of this investment. So let's use example 6 as an example as far as how to use this new formula we have here. We have $10,000 invested in a savings account that pays 6% compounded quarterly. How much is in the account at the end of a year? Okay, so let's go, and we're looking for A. That's what we're interested in. How much is in the account? A. So our principal is $10,000. Our rate, they give us as 6% or 0.06. What else do we need here? They give us the number of periods. It says compounded quarterly. So my n is going to be 4, because there's 4 quarters to $1, or 4 quarters to a year. And my time is, what do they give me as far at the end of a year? So they give me 1 for my year. So my amount is going to be $10,000 times 1 plus 0.06 over n is 4 to the 4 times 1. So I'm going to do what's in the parentheses first. So I'm going to take 0.06 divided by 4 and get 0.015 to the 4th power. I'm going to add what's in the parentheses. 1.015 to the fourth power. I'm going to take 1.015 times itself 4 times, which if you're using a calculator, you probably have a button that looks like this. That means you put the 1.015 and then the 4 is the x value there. So what you'll do is you'll put in 1.015, push the y to the x key, and then put the 4 in there, and then hit equal, and that will tell you what 1.015 to the fourth power is, and then you can multiply that by 10,000. And you should get 10,613.633, etc. down the road. So that gives you an idea of whether you're getting the right answer or not. So that is the formula I would use when doing compound interest. And it's just easier than doing things over and over and over again. That's the end of lesson 6.6.